I found you. Before you found this, stop what you are doing, just for a moment. Because what I am about to say to you has been waiting. Not for days, not for weeks. It has been waiting for years to reach your ears at exactly this second. You did not find this by accident. You did not stumble here by chance. I brought you here. I called you to this exact place, at this exact hour, because there is something I need you to hear from me directly. Something that could not wait any longer. And if you have ever doubted whether I see you, whether I know your name, whether I have ever truly heard your prayers, I need you to stop doubting, right now, because I am here, and I have been here the whole time. I know how tired you are. Not just physically tired, I mean the kind of tired that lives in your chest. The kind that makes you wake up at 3 in the morning and just stare at the ceiling, and wonder if anything is ever going to change. I know what it feels like to cry and not fully understand why. I know about the prayers you stopped saying out loud because you started to wonder if they were reaching anyone at all. I know the smile you put on in front of others, and the silence you fall into the moment you are alone. I know the version of you that nobody else gets to see, the one who is scared, the one who is worn down, the one who has been holding on by a thread for longer than you would ever admit to anyone. And I need you to hear this clearly. I see that person. I love that person, and I have never, not once, looked away from that person. You have been in a battle, a real one, not an ordinary struggle, a prolonged, exhausting, grinding kind of warfare that has attacked you from every angle. Your finances, your health, your relationships, your sense of purpose, your faith, one thing after another, until it started to feel less like coincidence and more like something was deliberately trying to break you. And the truth is, something was. Something has been working very hard against you. But here is what that thing never told you. It could not win. It never could. Because you belong to me, and what belongs to me cannot be permanently destroyed. You were never losing the battle. You were winning it. Slowly, painfully, faithfully, and you are about to see the evidence of that victory. Let me tell you what has really been happening. There is a realm you cannot see with your natural eyes, a spiritual dimension where legal cases are heard, where agreements are made, where destinies are either released or held back. And for a season, a long, difficult season, there has been a case filed against you in that realm. An accusation. A legal argument made by the enemy of your soul that claimed you did not deserve what I promised you, that your past disqualified you, that your failures were too many, that the time had passed. And I want you to know, I want you to truly understand, that case has been dismissed. It is over. The verdict has already been rendered. The courts of heaven have spoken, and they have spoken in your favor. Whatever the enemy built against you has been legally dismantled. Whatever chains were placed on your breakthrough have been lawfully severed. It is done, and heaven is now free, fully free, to move on your behalf without restriction. That feeling you have had lately, that strange, quiet sense that something is shifting, that something is different, even though you cannot name what, that is not your imagination. That is the atmosphere around your life changing. That is the weight of the old season lifting. Pay attention to that feeling. It is real. It is me. It is the beginning of what I have been preparing for you. If you can feel this right now, if something in your spirit is stirring as you read these words, type 333 in the comments below. Let it be your agreement. Let it be your declaration that you receive what heaven has already decided for you. This is not just a number. It is a sign of alignment, a covenant between your faith and my faithfulness. I want to talk about the 6 years. Some of you have been in a cycle for almost exactly 6 years. A cycle of delay, of almost but not quite, of watching other people step into things that felt like they were supposed to be yours. 6 years of planting without harvesting. 6 years of believing without seeing. 6 years of holding on while everything in you wanted to let go. And if that number means something to you right now, if 6 years resonates somewhere deep in your gut, then know that I am speaking specifically to you in this moment. That cycle is over. The 6-year hold has been released. The harvest you planted in tears is about to come in with joy. This is not a platitude. This is not religious comfort. This is a prophetic word with a specific assignment, and it has your name on it. I want to tell you about a woman. I will not say her name because she knows who she is, and I suspect some of you will recognize yourself in her story. For 5.5 years, she prayed for a financial breakthrough. She worked. She believed. She gave when she barely had anything to give. She watched her accounts drain. She watched plans fall apart. She watched doors slam shut, one after another. And there was one specific morning, a Tuesday, when she sat on the edge of her bed and said out loud, "I give up. I cannot do this anymore." She did not even say it to me. She said it to the empty room. But I heard it. And in that moment, I did not abandon her. I moved closer. Because surrender, real surrender, not defeat, but genuine release, is sometimes the exact thing that breaks a spiritual logjam. Within 11 days of that morning, she received a check in the mail she was not expecting. Within 3 weeks, a business opportunity appeared from a direction she had never considered. Within 2 months, she had more than recovered everything she had lost over 5 years. She told the story later, and she said, "The moment I stopped white-knuckling my breakthrough was the moment it arrived." I want you to hear that. I want you to feel what I am saying underneath those words. You do not have to force it anymore. You do not have to earn what I have already decided to give you. There is a man I want to tell you about too. He spent 3 years avoiding his family. A falling out, the kind that happened slowly, through misunderstandings and pride, and years of unspoken hurt, until eventually people stopped calling. He had written off the relationship. He told himself he didn't care. But in the quiet moments, in the car alone, in the shower, in those 3 a.m. moments, he grieved it deeply. He prayed once, almost embarrassed, and said, "If you can fix this, fix it." But I stopped believing you fix things like this. 6 weeks later, his brother called, out of nowhere. No explanation for the timing, except that he had woken up that morning and felt strongly that he needed to call. What followed was a 2-hour conversation that unraveled 3 years of silence and began the rebuilding of a relationship that both of them had secretly mourned. I orchestrate reconciliation. I speak to both sides of a broken relationship. I can reach into a heart that seems hardened and plant a seed of longing that leads to a phone call that changes everything. Do not give up on what seems broken. I specialize in what seems broken. And I need you to understand that same restoration power is available to you right now. Whatever relationship you have been grieving, whatever door feels permanently closed, whatever connection has gone cold or silent or has been severed by pain, I am not finished with it. I am not finished with you, and I am not finished with them. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not the exception to my promises. You are the reason the promise exists. I want to speak for a moment about what you have been hearing, or rather what you have not been hearing. There has been a season where my voice felt distant to you, where prayer felt like speaking into a void, where the peace that used to come naturally during worship seemed to have evaporated, replaced by numbness, or worse, by a background noise of anxiety that never fully went quiet. I know what that feels like from your side. I know how disorienting it is to lose the sense of closeness that once felt like the most real thing in your life. And I want to tell you something that the enemy did not want you to know. That silence was never my absence. I was never far. What happened was a spiritual interference, a specific targeted attempt to sever your connection to my voice, so that you would make decisions from fear instead of faith, from isolation instead of guidance, from the panic of feeling alone instead of the confidence of knowing you are accompanied. That interference has been removed. The signal is clear again. And if you will be still, just still, even for 60 seconds today, You will begin to hear me again in ways that you have not heard me in a long time. Not necessarily in an audible voice, but in the thought that arrives with unusual clarity, in the peace that suddenly settles over a situation you were panicking about, in the dream that lingers after you wake up and carries a message you cannot quite shake, in the scripture that seems to leap off the page directly into the specific center of your specific wound. I am speaking. I have not stopped speaking. The channel has just been cleared. If you need that clarity, if you have been longing to hear clearly again, receive it right now as a gift. Type 333 in the comments and share this with someone who needs to hear that God has not gone silent on them. Your share is a seed, and seeds come back multiplied. Let me tell you about the number you have been seeing. Some of you have been seeing 333 on clocks, on receipts, on license plates, in places that made you pause and wonder if it meant something. It does. That number is not a coincidence. It is a marker, a divine timestamp that I use to signal to my children that they are in a moment of spiritual alignment. 3 is the number of completion. 3 is the number of the Trinity, Father, Son, Spirit, all moving together on your behalf. When you see 333, it means all 3 are in agreement about your life. It means heaven's full attention is on you in that moment. It means you are exactly where you are supposed to be. The next time you see it, do not dismiss it. Receive it as a wink from eternity, a reminder that you are seen, that you are held, that the fullness of who I am is engaged with the fullness of who you are meant to become. Now I want to speak about fear. Because underneath everything, underneath the financial stress, the relational pain, the spiritual confusion, there is almost always fear. A core fear. The fear that things will never change. The fear that you are uniquely unqualified for what you dream of. The fear that the worst-case scenario is actually just your destiny with a different name. I have watched that fear operate in you for a long time. I have seen you make decisions from it. I have seen it talk you out of things you were supposed to do, keep you silent when you were supposed to speak, and convince you to settle for less than what I designed for your life. And I am calling that fear out right now, by name, in this moment. Fear, I am speaking to you now. You do not have authority here. You never did. The assignment you have carried against this life is finished. You are evicted. You do not get to live rent-free in this mind anymore. It is over. And to you, the one reading this, I want you to feel the weight of what just happened. That was not just words. That was a spiritual decree issued with the full authority of heaven. Fear has been ordered off your property. What comes in its place is something I want to describe to you very carefully, because it is not just the absence of fear, it is something far richer than that. What is coming into your life is a peace that functions differently than anything you have experienced before. Not the fragile peace that only exists when your circumstances are manageable. Not the surface-level peace that evaporates the moment bad news arrives. I am talking about a deep, structural peace, a peace that can coexist with difficulty without being destroyed by it, a peace that knows something the circumstances do not know, a peace that is rooted so far below the surface of your daily life. This peace is already in transit toward you. It is already moving through the spiritual atmosphere and entering the emotional atmosphere of your life. Some of you are feeling the first edges of it right now. A softening, a releasing, a breath you did not know you had been holding, finally let go. Let it come. Do not resist it because it feels unfamiliar. Do not push it away because you are afraid to hope again. This is not a trap. This is not a setup for another disappointment. This is the genuine peace of someone who loves you beyond measure, arriving to take up permanent residence in a heart that has earned it through years of faithfulness under fire. I want to tell you what happened in a young man's life. A man who came to a place of what he described as total spiritual dryness. He had grown up in faith, he had been raised with belief, and somewhere in his mid-20s, the whole thing just went quiet for him. Not angry at God, not rebellious, just empty, like the frequency had gone dead. He went through the motions for 2 years, showing up to church, saying the right words, feeling nothing. And then one night, just an ordinary Tuesday, he was not doing anything spiritual. He was watching a documentary about ocean tides. Something cracked open inside him. He began to weep without understanding why. And in the weeping he felt, undeniably, a warmth, a presence, not imagined, not manufactured, real. And in that moment he heard very quietly in his inner knowing 3 words, "I never left." He said those 3 words rearranged his entire interior life. He spent the next hour sitting in his living room, just receiving what he had thought was gone forever. And from that night forward, the dryness ended. The faith did not return as a religious performance, it returned as a living relationship, warmer and realer and more honest than it had ever been in his childhood. I did that for him, and I will do it for you. If you have been in a dry place, if faith has felt like a habit without a heartbeat, I am cracking something open right now. Receive it. Do not explain it. Do not theologize it. Just receive it. Now let me speak about what is actually coming, not in vague, overly spiritual language, in real terms, because I want you to be prepared, and I want you to recognize the breakthrough when it arrives, so you do not accidentally dismiss it, or miss it, because it comes in a different package than you expected. For some of you, the breakthrough is financial, and it may not arrive the way you prayed for it. It may not come from the direction you expected. I have learned, and by learned I mean I have watched this play out in thousands of lives throughout human history, that breakthroughs often arrive disguised as something small. A conversation, a random email, a connection at a place you almost did not go. A thought at 2 in the morning that turns out to be a genuinely good idea. Pay attention to the small things in the coming days. The seed of your turnaround may look very unremarkable at first. That is by design. I often package major things in humble containers precisely because I want to know if you will be faithful with what seems small before I release what is large. Let me tell you about a woman who needed money for her daughter's medical treatment. They had exhausted every obvious channel, every fundraiser, every loan application, every grant, every family member. And she was sitting in a waiting room at the hospital, just praying quietly, not even asking for anything specific at that point, just saying my name over and over like a lifeline. When a woman she had never met sat down beside her. They began to talk, just conversation. And the woman asked why she was there, and when she explained, the stranger opened her purse and handed her a card. "Call this number tomorrow morning," she said. "Tell them I sent you." That phone call led to a foundation she had never heard of that specialized in exactly her daughter's condition. The treatment was fully covered. The stranger never appeared again. I send people. I plant strangers in waiting rooms. I arrange divine encounters in hospital hallways and grocery stores and parking lots and comment sections and phone calls that come at 3 in the afternoon on a day you did not expect anything. Be open. Stay open. Your miracle may be wearing ordinary clothes. Pause here for just a moment. If you believe that I am orchestrating something in your life right now, if you feel the truth of these words landing somewhere real inside you, give this a like. Share it with one person who is struggling today, and type 333 in the comments. This is your moment of activation. This is your agreement with heaven. Every share is a seed of faith, and I watch every seed. I want to speak now about dreams, because in this new season, your dream life is going to become unusually active. I have always spoken through dreams. Throughout all of human history, dreams have been one of my primary languages. And in the coming weeks and months, I'm going to be using this channel to communicate with you in ways that are clear and specific and sometimes startling. You may dream about people you have not thought about in years. You may dream in symbols that when you sit with them, suddenly make perfect sense. You may dream about places you have never been, but somehow recognize. Pay attention. Write them down. Do not dismiss the vivid ones as random neural activity. When a dream stays with you into the day, when you wake up And the images are still there, still carrying emotional weight, still pressing on your mind. That is me. That is a message that deserves your attention and your prayer and your willingness to ask me what it means. I will tell you. I will explain my own language to you if you ask. And beyond dreams, in this new season, you are going to begin receiving signs in your waking life that are unmistakably divine. Not vague things you could explain away, specific things, confirmations, moments where something I told you in prayer shows up in your physical reality in a way that takes your breath away. These signs are not for entertainment. They are not for spiritual pride. They are breadcrumbs, markers on a path, pointing you in the direction of everything I have prepared for your life. Follow the breadcrumbs. Do not overthink them. Do not wait for a sign that looks exactly the way you imagined. A sign is a sign because it is unmistakable to the one it was meant for. You will know it when you see it. And when you see it, act on it with courage. The doors that are about to open in your life were not opened by your effort alone. They were opened by my hand on your behalf because of a covenant I made with you before you were born. Let me tell you about a man in his early 40s who had spent 18 years in a career he had outgrown by year 3. He stayed because it felt safe, because the paycheck was reliable, because every time he considered leaving, something would go wrong in his personal life and the risk seemed too enormous, and he prayed about it. Vaguely, inconsistently, always slightly afraid of what the answer might be. Until one morning, he woke up from a dream about a door. In the dream, he was standing in front of a door in his house, a door that had always been locked, a door he had assumed led to a closet, a door he had literally never tried to open. And in the dream I told him, the door was never locked, it was only ever closed. He woke up and sat with that for an hour. Then he made one phone call he had been avoiding for 2 years. That phone call led to an introduction. The introduction led to an interview. Within 90 days, he had left the career of 18 years and stepped into work that felt, for the first time, like the reason he had been built. He told someone later that the hardest part was realizing the door had never actually been locked. He had just never tried the handle. Some of you are standing in front of your unlocked door right now, and the only thing separating you from what is on the other side is the courage to reach out and try the handle. I am telling you, try the handle. Whatever it is you have been afraid to attempt, whatever it is you have been waiting for permission to pursue, this is your permission. From me, directly to you. The door is open. Walk through it. You are chosen. You are protected. You are equipped for everything I have called you to do, even the parts that terrify you most. I want to address something directly now. Some of you listening right now have been told, by people, by circumstances, by your own inner voice, that you are too late, that the window closed, that the opportunity passed, that the prime years are gone, that the dream is expired, and I need to look at that lie directly and dismantle it in your hearing. Because time operates differently in my economy than it does in human understanding. I made a man a father at 100. I opened a womb that medicine had declared permanently closed. I raised a man who had been dead for 4 days. I do not operate within the expiration dates that human systems place on things. I am not bound by the timelines that anxiety wrote for your life. What I have promised you does not have an expiration date. What I have planned for you was designed to arrive exactly when it arrives. Not early, not late, but in the fullness of a time that only I fully understand. So when the voice of too late rises up in you, I need you to refuse it. Not ignore it. Refuse it. Look at it directly and say, no, my God does not work that way, and what he promised me has not expired. Because here is what the enemy understands about delay that he has not told you. Delay is not denial. Delay is often preparation. The reason some things have not arrived yet is not because they are not coming. It is because you were not yet ready to steward them. And I love you too much to give you something before you can carry it without being crushed. The waiting has not been wasted. Every single day of what felt like nothing happening was actually a day of invisible preparation, of character being built, of roots going deeper, of the soil of your life being made rich enough to hold what is coming. And what is coming is large. What is coming requires roots that go deep, and your roots are deep enough now. The waiting season served its purpose, and it is over. If you receive that, if you believe the waiting season is ending, let it be a declaration right now. Type 333 below. Share this with the friend who has been waiting the longest, the one you know who is almost out of hope. Let this be the message that reaches them today, because I sent this for them too. I want to speak about your identity for a moment, because underneath all of the circumstances, the finances, the relationships, the career, the health, the spiritual dryness, there is an identity question that the enemy has been working very hard to answer incorrectly in your heart. The question is this: who are you, really? And the enemy's answer has been, you are your failures. You are your mistakes. You are the thing that happened to you when you were young. You are the version of yourself you are most ashamed of. You are the label someone gave you that you never quite shook. You are less than. You are too broken. You are the exception to every promise. And I need you to hear my answer. My answer is this: you are mine. You are made in my image. You are called by my name. You are chosen, not as a consolation, not as an afterthought, chosen before the foundation of the world, before time had a beginning, before anything else existed. That is who you are. And no failure, no season, no enemy, no label, no history, and no voice, including the voice inside your own head, has the authority to rewrite that identity. You are not your worst day. You are not the sum of your regrets. You are not what was done to you. You are not what you did in the dark when you were hurting. You are a child of the Most High God, and that title carries a weight and a dignity and a legal standing in the spiritual realm that the enemy fears. He fears it because he knows what it means. He knows that when you walk in the full knowledge of who you are, his strategies against you become powerless. His accusations lose their grip. His whispers lose their authority. And so he has spent years trying to make you forget what you are. Today, in this moment, you remember. You are chosen. You are protected. You are not forgotten. You are deeply, permanently, unconditionally loved. Now I want to tell you about urgency, because there is a window open right now, a specific window of supernatural alignment, and windows do not stay open forever. I am not saying this to frighten you. I am saying it because I respect you enough to tell you the truth. The atmosphere around your life is charged right now in an unusual way. The spiritual conditions are favorable in a way that does not happen constantly. There is an acceleration available to you right now, a divine momentum that can compress years of normal process into months if you will lean into it with faith and action. But momentum requires movement. A door that is open still requires you to walk through it. A seed that is good still requires you to plant it. A word that is true still requires you to act on it. Do not read this and nod and close the tab and go back to the same patterns. Do not receive this word and file it away as a nice thing that happened once while scrolling. This is a hinge moment. Not every moment is a hinge. Most moments are ordinary, and that is fine. But some moments are hinge points, places where the trajectory of a life can change, where one decision, one step of faith, one act of obedience can redirect everything that follows. This is one of those moments. I am not saying this to pressure you. I am saying it because I love you, and I will not pretend otherwise. What do I need from you right now? What is the one step I am asking you to take? It is different for each of you. And if you will be still and honest with yourself, you already know what it is. It is the conversation you have been avoiding, the apology you have been holding back, the application you have not submitted, the prayer you have been afraid to pray because you are not sure you can survive another no, the person you have been meaning to call, the gift you have been sitting on because you are afraid it is not good enough, The step you know you are supposed to take, but have been waiting to feel ready for. And readiness, I promise you, comes after the step, not before it. Take the step. I will meet you in the middle of it. I will catch you if you stumble. I have never let one of my children fall without being there to lift them, and I will not start with you. Let me tell you about a woman who had been living with anxiety for 9 years. Not occasional worry, clinical, crushing, daily anxiety that had stolen so much of her life. She had tried therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, and while some things helped, nothing had reached the root. She was a woman of faith, but the anxiety had outlasted all of her prayer efforts, and she had privately concluded that this was simply her cross to carry, her permanent condition, her thorn. And then one night, in a completely unexpected way, during a completely ordinary moment, she was washing dishes. She felt, almost physically, something leave her. A weight. A presence of dread that had been so constant, she had stopped noticing it, the way you stop noticing the hum of a refrigerator. Gone. In a moment. No dramatic prayer, no laying on of hands, no special church service. Just a dish, a sink, and a moment where I moved. She stood in her kitchen and wept. Not from sadness, from the disorienting, overwhelming relief of feeling something she had almost forgotten was possible. Peace. She still has that peace. That was 3 years ago. She still has that peace. I am the healer of anxiety. I am not limited by duration. I am not impressed by how long something has been present. I reach in, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly. And I do what no medication and no therapy and no self-help strategy can ultimately do, because I reach the root. The root of anxiety in most of my children is a deep uncertainty about whether they are truly safe, whether the universe is fundamentally benevolent or fundamentally threatening, whether there is a hand beneath them if they fall, or only emptiness. And the answer I give you today is, there is a hand. There has always been a hand. You have been caught every time you have fallen, even when it did not feel like it. The ground you are standing on is firmer than you know. You are held by something stronger than your fear. The anxiety that has been your constant companion, I am calling it to release you. Not because you earned it, not because you prayed hard enough, because I love you and I say it is time. Receive that healing right now. I want to speak about finances one more time, because I know for many of you, this is where the battle has been most acute, most humiliating, most exhausting, the not enough, the just barely, the watching numbers not add up no matter how hard you work or how carefully you budget, the debt that seems to reproduce, the income that plateaus no matter what you try, the opportunities that come close and then evaporate, and behind all of it, that quiet, persistent shame, because in this world, financial struggle is treated as a personal moral failure, and you have carried that shame long enough. I want to tell you something about money that very few people understand. Money follows assignment. When a person is fully walking in the specific purpose they were created for, provision follows. Not always immediately, not always in the exact form expected, but provision follows assignment the way water follows gravity. It is a spiritual law, and one of the reasons you have experienced financial restriction is not because you are bad at money or unblessed or cursed. It is because the enemy has been working very hard to keep you off your assignment. Because he knows that when you are fully in your calling, the resources will come, and the resources will be used to build things that push back his kingdom. He starves the assignment to prevent the building. But that strategy is being dismantled right now. As you step into what I have called you to, and you know what that is, or you are about to, the provision will follow. It will look different than you imagined. It may arrive faster than you believe, but it is already set aside. It already has your name on it. I know one man who received a financial miracle at the precise moment he stopped negotiating with his calling. He had known for years what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to leave his corporate job and start a non-profit serving youth in his community. He had 100 reasons not to. The salary, the benefits, the mortgage, the optics, the fear. And for 4 years he bargained. Maybe I can do both. Maybe when the kids are grown. Maybe when I save enough. Maybe next year. And I was patient. I was patient through 4 years of maybe. And then one day he sat down and said simply, "Okay, I will do it. I do not know how, but I will do it." He gave notice on a Thursday. On Monday of the following week, a man he barely knew contacted him about a grant he was administering for nonprofits. The grant was substantial. The man said he had been trying to reach him for weeks and could not explain why the urgency, only that it felt important. The nonprofit launched with full funding. It is still running. I moved the moment he moved, not before, the moment he moved. That principle is active in your life right now. The provision is waiting on your movement, not your perfection, not your complete certainty, just your first step of genuine, irreversible faith. Take it. Whatever it is, take it today. This is your moment. If you can feel it, if something is stirring in you right now, something that feels like courage, like hope, like the first green shoot pushing through winter soil, honor it. Type 333 below. Like this message. Share it with someone whose finances have been in a long winter. Let your faith be contagious. Let this be the beginning of something. I want to speak very directly now about something, and I need you to really hear me. There are people reading these words right now who are on the edge of a very permanent decision. A decision about whether to continue, about whether the pain is sustainable, about whether there is a reason worth staying for. And I need to stop everything else and speak to that person. I see you. I see the exact weight of what you are carrying right now, and I do not minimize it. I do not give you a cheerful verse and expect that to be enough. I know it is real. I know it is heavy. And I need you to know something that is more true than the pain you are feeling. You are not a burden. You are a treasure. The world is not better without you in it. The world is profoundly, specifically, irreplaceably incomplete without you in it. There are people who have not yet been born, who need what only you can give. There are conversations that have not yet happened that will save other lives, that only happen if you are here to have them. Your story is not over. Your worst chapter is not your last chapter. Please stay. Please reach out. Please let someone in. I am working, even now, even in this darkness, to bring you through to a morning that is coming. And to everyone else reading, check on the people that seem fine. The strongest seeming people are often carrying the most invisible weight. A simple message, "I was thinking of you today," can land at exactly the right moment, like a lifeline. Be willing to be that lifeline. I use people to reach people. I may be trying to reach someone through you right now. I want to now speak prophetically over your future, not in vague feel-good generalities, in specific, declarative terms. Because this is what I see when I look at the road ahead of you, and I want you to hear it clearly enough that when it begins to unfold, you will recognize it. I see a door opening in the next season that you did not knock on. A door that opens from the other side, by someone who was moved on your behalf. Someone you may not even know well, who will bring something into your life that addresses a need you have been too tired to even actively pray about anymore. Watch for that door. Walk through it with gratitude. I see a relationship, one that has been strained or severed, or simply gone cold, that is about to experience an unexpected thaw, a reaching out, a cracking open. It will surprise you. It will come at an unexpected time. Receive it with an open hand, not with the defensiveness of accumulated hurt. I am orchestrating it. Trust the process. I see your finances beginning to shift, not in one dramatic single moment for most of you, but in a series of smaller movements that will accumulate into something undeniable. Watch for the unexpected source. Watch for the open door in a direction you had not been looking. Keep your hands open. Closed fists cannot receive what I am releasing. I see your health beginning to stabilize and improve. For some of you, this means a literal physical healing that medicine has been unable to achieve. For others, it means a mental and emotional steadying, a returning of equilibrium to a nervous system that has been in crisis mode for far too long. For others, it means the healing of old wounds, the deep wounds from childhood, from betrayal, from violence, from abandonment, wounds that have been quietly bleeding for years. I am the healer. I heal comprehensively. What I restore completely. Your future is not a diminished version of what you hoped for. Your future is an expanded, refined, richer version of the dream I placed in you before you were born. Hold on to that dream. Hold on to it with both hands. It is not silly. It is not presumptuous. It is prophetic. I want to tell you about a woman whose dream had been deferred for so long, she had stopped calling it a dream and started calling it a fantasy. A childhood whim she was supposed to have outgrown by now. She was 44 years old, and the dream had been present since she was 9. Every practical voice in her life had told her, gently or harshly, to let it go, and for decades she had tried. But it would not leave. It would not die. It just sat there, quietly persistent, in the corner of her heart, showing up in the quiet moments, reminding her it was still there. She finally, at 44, after 35 years of deferred dreaming, decided to say yes to it. Not in a huge dramatic way, just one small step in the direction of the thing. And that small step opened a chain of events that unfolded over the next 2 years and led her directly into the heart of the dream she had been carrying since she was 9 years old. She said, and I want you to hear this carefully, the dream survived me. I tried to kill it 12 times. I told it to grow up and be realistic. I told it the timing had passed. It survived all of that. And I think it survived because it was not just my dream. It was given to me, and it was kept alive by the one who gave it. The dreams I give, I keep alive. The callings I plant, I sustain. If it will not die, it is because it is not supposed to die. It is supposed to be lived. We are coming toward the end of this word, and I want to use the final moments to speak over you with intention and love and specificity. This is not a closing prayer. This is a blessing, and it is yours. Receive every word of it. I declare over you right now that the 6-year cycle, the cycle of delay, of warfare, of holding patterns and spinning wheels, and almost but not quite, is legally, spiritually, permanently ended as of this moment. You are crossing out of it right now. Your feet are on new ground. The old season cannot reclaim you. You have been discharged from it by the authority of heaven itself, and what heaven releases, no enemy can recapture. I declare over your finances that what the enemy ate is being restored. Not partially, not some of it, the full amount, with interest, with increase, with the kind of abundance that makes people around you ask, what changed? And gives you a story to tell that points them back to me. I declare over your relationships that I am moving in the hearts of people who matter to you. Some of them are having thoughts about you right now that they do not fully understand. A prompting, a pull, a sudden awareness of how much you mean to them. Reconciliations are in motion. Reconnections are in motion. Love that went dormant is being revived. Watch your phone. Watch your inbox. Watch your front door. I declare over your body that healing is moving through you right now, not as a future event, but as a present reality. The body responds to the spirit. As your spirit is released from the weight of this long season, your body will follow. Restoration is in motion. The cells of your body are responding to the decree of heaven. You will begin to feel this in the natural world in the coming days. I declare over your mind that the fog is lifting. The confusion that has made decisions feel impossible, that has made the path forward look murky and indistinct, it is clearing. Clarity is arriving. Direction is arriving. The peace that passes all understanding is taking up residence in the place where anxiety used to live. And it is a permanent tenant with a permanent lease signed by someone whose signature carries more authority than any other name in existence. And I declare over your identity one final time. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not a disappointment to me. You are not too broken or too late or too far gone. You are exactly who I made you to be, in exactly the season I placed you in, for exactly the purpose I have been preparing you for. You are chosen. You are loved. You are not forgotten. You never were. Now hear me very clearly as I close. This is not the end of the conversation. This is the beginning of a new chapter of it. The coming days are pregnant with significance for your life. Pay attention to the small things. Pay attention to the quiet moments. Pay attention to the thoughts that arrive with unusual clarity, the encounters that feel arranged, the doors that open unexpectedly, the dreams that carry messages, the number that appears on a clock just when you needed a reminder that you are seen. I am speaking in the ordinary moments of your ordinary days. I am in the traffic, and the waiting room, and the grocery store aisle, and the 3 a.m. silence. I am not far. I have never been far. And now that the interference has been removed, and the season has shifted, and the legal case has been resolved, and the courts of heaven have spoken in your favor, now the fullness of my attention, and my love, and my power, and my provision is moving towards you without obstruction. Do not ignore this moment. Do not scroll past it and forget it by tomorrow morning. Let it land. Let it stay. Let it change something. One thing. Even one small thing. Print it if you have to. Share it if it moved you. Write down the dream it gave you permission to dream again. Make the call you have been avoiding. Take the step you have been delaying. Say yes to the thing you have been saying no to out of fear. And know as the truest thing you have ever known, that you are not alone in this. You will never be alone in this. The same voice that spoke galaxies into being, the same hand that holds every atom in existence together, the same love that crossed the distance between eternity and a manger and a cross and an empty tomb. That voice, that hand, that love is here, right now, in your chest, in the very next breath you take. Go. Step into your new season. It is waiting for you, and so am I. Before you close this, leave your mark. Type 333 in the comments as your declaration of agreement. Like this as an act of faith, and share it with the one person who came to your mind while you were reading. The one who needs to hear that their season is changing. You were brought here for a reason. Let the reason extend through you to someone else. This is how revival moves. One soul at a time, one share at a time, one act of courage at a time. End of transmission. 333. You are seen.